Hello, hello. This is the second video in a 3-video series. This is Psychic Mechanics mini course series, and I am your hostess, Reverend Erin-Ashley, the founder of spiritualmechanic.com. So let's just go ahead and dive in. This is key to interpreting. So what you're going to learn in this video, we'll do a quickie review of what we learned last time. We'll talk about the frustrations of not knowing how to interpret your intuitive or psychic hits. We'll talk about why interpretation is important. It's kind of self-explanatory, but we'll still cover it just in case. Then I'm going to teach you a really fun association game, which is one of my favorite ways to interpret. The association game. You're going to love it. And then, of course, we'll have our Psychic Mechanics Challenge 2. So it's going to be a blast. Let's dive in. So quickie review. The 3 keys of psychic development are receiving information from the universe. So this is where you ask for a sign or you ask for something and then you receive the info in your physical body through visions, through some type of audio experience. You hear something, through feeling, whether it's emotion or a sensation in your body, or through direct knowing. Then step 2, which is what we're on here today, is accurately interpreting the information that you receive. And this is important if you want to take action on it, which is number 3. Number 3 is trusting and acting on the information. Now, if you try to take action on information that's not correctly interpreted or not interpreted at all, kind of impossible to do. It's not going to work out very well for you. But that's why we're doing this, right? So that we can do it. All right, what we did yesterday, our challenge was to just see which of the 4 major psychic gifts you had. And you can have all 4 or you could have only 1. But I've yet to meet anyone who had literally 0. So you basically practice imagining something in your mind and see how well your senses connect. If you can see a beach in your mind's eye, that is the signal for clairvoyance. If you could hear the sounds of the beach, you have the muscle for clairaudience. If you could feel the sun or wind on your skin or feel the peace of being in that nice relaxing place, then that's clairsentience. And last but not least, if you could feel certainty with that vision, or if you simply knew any of the previous ones were there, even if you didn't see, feel, or hear anything, then that's claircognizance. All right, so hopefully you have your psychic style, your psychic language from last time. Let's dive into today's stuff. Here are some of the frustrations of not knowing how to interpret. You're probably familiar with these, unless you're just really blessed with a really good interpretation skill set. So first off, you don't feel intuitive, because if you have been getting intuitive information, but you have no idea how to interpret it, then there's really nothing to show for all of that intuitiveness. The next action step, or aha, or epiphany, feels just out of reach. This means that you can feel that something is there, but you can't really grasp it, and that can be incredibly frustrating. And then there's a lack of confidence with possible intuitive hits, because you got something, but you may not actually know what it is, or you may not have confidence in it because you don't trust yourself to interpret it correctly. Then there's confusion. You get something, but you think of 5 or 6 things it could mean, and you can't figure out which meaning makes the most sense for you, which one is correct, or anything like that. So confusion happens. Frustration and anger at the universe for sending you signals that you do not understand. Raise your hand if you've had this one. I am raising my hand. That's the one that got me the most, because I like things to be clear, I like them to be concise, and I like to take action almost immediately. And so anyway, those are all the frustrations of not knowing how to interpret. So let's talk about why interpretation is important. This is how you get clear, actionable, and specific information from your psychic visions, your dreams, the songs stuck in your head, the emotions that you have in your physical body, the physical sensations that seem to come out of nowhere, and those feelings of knowingness that pop up. So this is how you navigate all of those so you can get to whatever your heart desires, whatever you're feeling called to create in the world, whether it's a big vision or a quote-unquote small vision. If that's what you're aligned with and you're working towards it or feeling towards it or allowing towards it, then interpretation is a beautiful way for you to get there. All right. Big important thing. Every single person is unique. Your psychic language will not look exactly like anyone else's on the planet. This is what makes interpretation so damn hard, and why, if you've ever had the experience, if you have a dream and then you try to Google what it means, many times you'll walk away more confused than when you started, because you have 16 sites telling you something just a little bit different, and some of it resonates and some of it doesn't. That's why it differentiates, because everyone has a specific meaning for things. Everyone's language is just a little bit different. All right, so let's talk about why this requires practice. Interpretation is a skill. It is not something that you are born necessarily knowing how to do. Some people are. If you're clear cognizant, for instance, that intuitive knowing, that's very nice. You may actually get to bypass a lot of the interpretation stuff, and that's beautiful. Don't create problems where there aren't problems, please. You know, I'm telling you, that's just fine. All right, so psychic information comes from the big U in the form of non-physical energy info packets. Just go with me here for the visual. This isn't exactly scientifically correct, but it's a really good metaphor for how this works. So this little non-physical energy packet hits your body system, and then your unique body-mind system has to unpack those bits of information, kind of like a computer. But every single body-mind system is wired just a little bit differently. And these packets will filter through your unique system, including your main physical senses, your subconscious, and your imagination. Now, this is really important. Whenever I am working with my pro group, the people who I train to be pro psychics and pro energy healers, we talk about this a lot. We'll tune into the same person and we get slightly different images or slightly different messages for them, even though they're all talking about the same thing. And this is why that phenomena happens. And so this is really important as you move forward. All right, so if you're sitting there like, all right, EA, this is great and all, but how the hell am I going to interpret things if everyone's different and, you know, it's never the same and I have to figure all this out on my own? I'm kind of mad at you, EA. So if you're thinking that, that's all good. There's actually a really fun game that you can play. And so please, before we even start talking about this game, make a pact with yourself that you will not take this too seriously. Please keep it lighthearted. This is an exploration process, not a figure everything out and try to control everything in the universe right now process, all right? So this is exploration. Please allow yourself to feel as light as you can about it. All right, the association game is how we take intuitive info, which is encoded in the subconscious and imagination's language, and translate it into plain old English or whatever language you happen to speak. By practicing the association game, you will learn how to properly and accurately interpret the psychic information flowing to and through you. And in time, you will need this less and less and less, because it will become immediately apparent what those psychic hits mean for you. You'll be able to go through this lightning fast if you put the time in to practice it now. And this can be a lot of fun, so please allow it to be fun and don't turn it into hard work or must, should, have to do in order to be okay as an intuitive human. Turn it into play. All right, this means you get to live an intuitively led life, which is fun as hell. Now, I've had an intuitively led life, as in I allow my intuition to guide almost all of my decisions at this point, and I have since 2012, whenever I first really started playing with this. And magic has happened because I've been willing to do this. I am married to the man of my dreams. I did that in 2011. But I've gotten to stay married to him, and our relationship is wonderful. We live in our dream home. I have a career that I just find so fulfilling, and I have the honor and pleasure to do it every single day. Now, I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this because I'm trying to demonstrate how this is so effective and what results happen whenever you're really tuned in to your own intuition. All right, so hopefully now you're totally excited to play the association game. So let's talk about how to play it. So you don't have this yet, likely, so don't feel like you have to pause and do it this second. You're going to start with a psychic experience or intuitive hit. If you have dreams, then you can use this for a dream as well. This includes what you see in your mind's eye, what you hear in your mind during an intuitive hit, what you feel in your body during the hit, and that includes sensations and emotions, and then what you feel like you just know as truth. Then you break up the hit into its specific components. Now, when you're just starting, I recommend starting with about 5 to 10 components at first. As you get better and better at this, you can go more complex, but 5 to 10 at first. And so, for instance, if you see a red car, feel uneasy, you get anxiety, and then you hear in your mind's eye the sound of tires skidding, that is something that will break apart. Now, probably it's pretty clear to you what that might be representing, right? We're talking about a car crash in your intuitive hit or something close to it. But you're going to just take those bits and you'll want to write them out. So for each component then, you write the first 3 things that come to mind. You're going to free associate. Now, beginner mistake alert, please, please, please do not make this mistake. Beginners will often try to overthink this step. They will get into analytical mode and then they get themselves out of the flow and then they give up way too soon or they start getting into confusion. Please, please don't do this. The pros will write out the 3 to 5 things that come to mind regardless of whether they make sense. Please do not overthink this. Trust the process. Take it as something to explore, and then you will get much better results. So again, take a lighthearted approach. All right, so as soon as you have your associations for your 5 to 10 things that you noticed, then it's time to get creative and weird. So you will write, without editing and without overthinking it, a short story using 1 word from each of the 3 to 5 associations you came up with. So with the red car, if you got fast, ungrounded, and crash, whenever you think of the red car, then 1 sentence will contain 1 of those 3 words. So this means that you will use, if you have all 10 that I mentioned, then you have 3 associations for each of the 10 words or feelings. Then your final story will have 10 of the words from your list. All right, I hope that makes sense. Once you are done, again, you're not overthinking this, read your story through and sit with it for a minute. Don't immediately try to jump to conclusions or figure it out. This is the point where you just read it and you kind of imagine your mind expanding. You're not trying to figure it out. You're just expanding your awareness and your mind. Now you ask yourself, what is the moral or message of this story? What is the moral or message of this story? Then you write out the first thing that comes to mind. Again, do not overthink this step. Just do it. And that is the message from your previous psychic hit. Whatever the message is, that's for your previous psychic hit. This allows you to take it through the process from your subconscious mind into a message that you can actually do something with. So then you want to take this message and apply it to your specific situation or question and see how they fit together. So allow this to filter through. Don't try to force it. Just see, how do they fit together? Use a little bit of curiosity energy. Just allow yourself to sit with it. Cock your head, go, how does this fit together? Then you want to take whatever action is appropriate. So sometimes this is just asking more questions, and that's okay because we are developing the intuition. So it's okay to ask more than 1 question to gain more clarity. Sometimes I'll do this process and I'll get 6 more questions that I want answers to. Now, again, at the beginning, interpretation takes a little bit of work, so please don't feel discouraged about that. That's how the natural interpretation process goes. But with time, you'll notice that you go straight to the answer more and more quickly. You're teaching your body-mind to get the message, and it will wire itself to go to the message much more quickly as you play the game. So please don't feel discouraged if it takes you a few minutes this time and you have 6 more questions. All right, let's talk about the Psychic Mechanics Challenge number 2. Really excited about this. So you're going to pause this recording. Do it right now. I will wait. You will write a question that you wish to receive guidance on. So pause the recording and write a question you wish to receive guidance on right now, here, today. Once you have your question, Allow yourself to focus on your breath. Breathe in and out and relax. Now, in this relaxed state, ask your question. You may open your eyes if you need to read it. Welcome whatever is present for you naturally. So write down and welcome all of the sensations, the thoughts in your head, and write down each one, the visions, and what you know. Up to 10. Now, once you have your 5 to 10 things, and go back to the meditation if you're only getting 2 or 3, go back to the meditation until you get at least 5. And then you're going to play the association game with those 5 to 10 things. I want you to practice this. I want you to practice it right now. Remember, if you just read this and you think it's interesting, or just listen to this video and you don't take action, that's not developing your intuition. That's playing, which is fine. If you want to play, go for it. But please note that action is what allows you to really develop your intuition. So go ahead, do this now, and then share the message you received or how you felt about the process in the Spiritual Mechanic group. There will be a link below this video, and you can just join the group if you're not already there, and share your experience. All right, go ahead and share it, and thank you for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed if you enjoyed this and you want the final mini lesson for developing your psychic abilities. It's going to be released tomorrow if you're listening to this live. If you're not listening to this live, then just scroll around on the YouTube channel. You will find the 3rd and final video. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.